Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be going over my Sector Qualifier kind of review or post-mortem or a look back, whatever you want to call it. And this is also after the Django, TDR, and DJ ban, so we'll talk about that shortly. But yeah, we're just gonna go straight into it. So I thought the event was pretty well run. I got in there Friday night pretty late, didn't get that much sleep. I think I ended up getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep Friday night. And started off the morning at about, I think 8:30, I think maybe 9 we showed up, and then everything kicked off at 10. Overall, I think the event was pretty well run. The prize wall was definitely super disappointing, and it just seemed a little empty with all the vendor space, but I feel like slashing the prices on the prize wall stuff definitely helped. But the convention center was nice, and everything was more or less run on time. I do wish there was a lunch break for a Saturday, just because like it's game after game after game. But yeah, let's get straight into the deck that I used. I ran Boba yellow, and this was mainly because I was on Vader green all the way up until, a week before sectors. And then, yeah, I was just not feeling Vader green. It was just not feeling great. It felt like I was fighting for my life every single match, and it was just like I knew that would be exhausting on Saturday if I played 9 rounds and I was just fighting for my life with Vader going to time every single time. So I decided to switch last minute to what I thought was probably the easiest deck to learn in a week, which was Boba. And that's just because this deck is so toxic, because you play a card and you make the opponent think more, right? Like the decision making gets put onto the opponent with all the indirect damage. And he just had like a lot of cool fun cards, and generally every single set I tried to play the new mechanics or make a competitive deck with the new mechanics, and just Boba seemed like the fast, easy way to get that done. Not too much piloting going on, but yeah, let's just go straight into the list, and then after that we'll go through my match history over the weekend. But yeah, so we start off here with 3 first order stormtroopers, just super solid 2 1s for 1, and then just getting guaranteed indirect damage off. That's even on the when defeated, it's great, just because if they ping it off the table turn 1, you get a Boba trigger on that first turn, and just being able to push as much damage as you can with this deck is super important. It's pretty much aggro burn. You're just trying to end the game as fast as you can with all the indirect damage. That's pretty much the game plan with the deck. So having 3 of these guys just to push, that 2 attack damage, and then on attack you're doing an indirect, and when it dies it does an indirect. Super great. I wish it had more health, but it could probably be broken if it had 2 health. Yeah, super great card to get the triggers off with Boba Fett. We have 1 Greedo in the main. This is just so that I have another 1 cost, and hopefully turn 1 I can drop 2 1 costs. It also helps because like running into Allegiant Pride, having the 3 damage does help get it off the board, just because Allegiant Pride, General Pride, if you're not going first and they drop 1, it's like you need to kill that thing as soon as possible. That thing pushes 4 to 5 damage depending on if it's a Django or Boba. And having the Greedo 3 damage is super important to get it off the board. The Kylo Tai silencers, they're just well statted, but they just underperform for me. They didn't feel great to play just because the 2 health is easy to kill, even with all the Django pings, all the Quinlan pings, even on indirect in the mirror. Like, it didn't feel great having them soak all the damage just because it's only 2 life, and they just never really synergized with the deck well. I never got to play it off a discard just because I never really had the resources to. So I'm probably going to change these 2 out for TIE Bombers just to get more synergy with the indirect, and that 4 health also does make it a lot more tanky. So yeah, didn't really play these, underperformed, probably going to be swapped out. Gonna roll with 3 Zygerian Starhoppers. Super good turn 1 play against things that are trying to ping in Tarkin Town, just because just like the stormtroopers, they allow you to get your Boba trigger off turn 1, and that is super important, just pushing as much damage as possible. The when defeated's great, just being able to get that damage in fast, and or even just trading this into a P38 or whatever it is, just to get the death trigger and get something off the board. Really do like this card. I think it's pretty solid. Allegiant General Pride. Now, if you can get this guy on the initiative, right, and you're going first and they don't have an answer for it, it's not Quinlan Tarkin Towned off or Django ISB agent Tarkin Towned off, or whatever it is that has a turn 1 answer, this guy can almost win you games. I think it sets you so far ahead with Boba. Getting in 5 damage on that turn 2 swing is crazy. And then also just the fact that it can get rid of upgrades or shields most of the time. Most of the time it's shields. Sometimes I've taken off experience. but most of the time, if they're not paying attention, they put indirect damage on the shield. This guy is a powerhouse if you can get him to stick. Droid missile platforms, 3 of. It's just a solid card. Not that much health, but it just represents a ton of damage. 4 for the swing. Usually they're prioritizing to get this thing off the board, and when they do get it off the board, you're dealing that indirect damage. So just a super solid 3 cost play. I do run 2 P-38 starfighters in here, and this was just mainly because in my testing and in my personal experience, doing that, you know, they're putting the indirect damage on their units, and most of the time they leave the unit with 1 health. Being able to just tap 1 damage onto it to finish off whatever it is does give you a whole bunch of you know, finishing power in addition to IG-2000. And also that 1 damage is great because you can run this thing into Millennium Falcons, you can run it into Concord, the interceptors, right, the 1-4 Sentinel in space, so it reaches up to 4, and that's like, I think that's pretty important. So I liked running 2 of these. I know some people aren't, and I'm not running Boba Fett units. I felt like they're a little slow, a little clunky. Yeah, so I'm pretty much running the P-38s instead of the Boba Fett unit. Maybe the Boba Fett unit could be, you know, could be good. I think you could go either way on that. But just being able to also do the 1 damage immediately when you drop it, trigger Boba, you know, that's what we're trying to do. That's the name of the game, trigger Boba. The next thing we've got are 3 Guerrilla Soldiers, just an amazing play. Representing 3, maybe 4 indirect damage on the base if you can get it perfect, and then also readying to hit 2 more. The cool thing about Guerrilla Soldier, or like the interesting thing I should say, is you have to look for opportunities where, like, sometimes what you'll do instead of attacking first on the second turn is play this immediately, just because they only have 1 unit from the turn 1 on the board, and so they can't soak it efficiently anywhere else. So sometimes you're playing this before swinging, and so you just got to always keep in mind when you're playing the Boba Burn deck, like, how do I maximize the indirect damage, because that is going to sometimes change how you play or attack or sequence your turn compared to standard attack decks or attack base decks. Fett's Fire Spray, just such a fun card, such a fun, beautiful, awesome card. This guy comes in, if you TDR it, which you can't anymore, or sneak attack it, you know, it does the 2 indirect, trigger Boba, 3 indirect, swing 4, another 2 indirect. This guy is just, he outputs so much damage. Just such a fun card to play. Kind of sad that TDR gets hit, but you know, TDR was just, I think the ban's justified. The card just does too much. Searches, cheats, brings it in ready, bounce back to hand. It's just such a good card. So it'll be interesting to see how the TDR ban hits Boba Fett. It definitely hurts and makes the deck weaker, but we'll see if we can figure out some cool things to, you know, bring the deck back up to its power level. 2 IG-2000s. I hit some pretty nasty IG-2000s where, like, they've got 3 units on 1 life, and you just go ping, 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 and kill them all, and they're just like, god damn. Yeah, so this just is a huge threat. I think there is you know, there could be a case for running 3 of these, but I think 2 is good enough. There aren't too many times where you can get like that orgasmic multi IG-2000 hit. And we're running P-38s as well, just to get that extra tap damage for when it's needed. We've got 1 Boba Fett. Now, this guy was kind of underperforming for me, and the reason for that was mostly because of the matchups. Over the course of Saturday, I did a Django into a Django, into a Django, into a Django, into a Django, into a Quinlan, into a Quinlan, into a Boba Fett. So I only played red-yellow decks, and when you're playing red-yellow decks, you gotta look out for the disablings, you gotta look out for the waylays, you gotta look out for no good. So piloting just does not get played in those matchups. And like the shield on the ground is nice against Django because like you can shield and eat the ping to stand up or not get tapped down, I should say. But like, yeah, he was all right. He's mainly there for Piets for the shield to soak like the overwhelming barrage or the turbo laser. But into Django, like they can usually tap him down eventually somehow with all the ping, War Juggernaut, Ruthless Raider, just all that stuff to get the shield off. So he was mostly sideboarded almost every single game. But yeah, pretty wild to go against only red-yellow decks this weekend. By the time I hit the 4th Django, I was so over it. But yeah. That Fire Spray we only run 1 of, and the reason for that is just because it's easy to get tapped down. That's really why. Like into the Django matchup, playing this thing just feels bad because it's like, All right, I play the 5. Okay, he taps it down. All right, I guess I just sit there. It doesn't really do anything besides that. The one cool thing that the Fet's Fire Spray can do, which I didn't ever do this weekend, back with TDR, right, is you could exhaust the War Juggernaut if you had this out, or, you know, the Ruthless Raider, if they TDR sneak attack it in by paying 2. But yeah, I only ran one of, and it seemed all right. It seemed good. It did win me some games. It definitely did. Where like they're tapped out, they think I can't push any more damage. I play the Fire Spray, I get in for 5 to end the game. It definitely happened once or twice. So having one of these, I think, is definitely important. Triple Ruthless Raider. What else is there to say? This card is just disgusting, especially with the TDR. Comes in 2 damage to base, trigger 2 damage to unit, swing 4. Yeah, I don't really use sneak attack, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But this is just a staple. 1 Vader, same as the Boba, always got sideboarded out, always got resourced, never got played because red yellow decks have answers to the pilot stuff. Yeah, he never got played. Then that was just because of the matchup. Radiant 7 is a super cheeky card. I think I was at 2 at one point. I'm down to 1. And it's just, you know, grabbing it off TDR on 5 was great because you could do 6 indirect damage, and then hopefully by that point you've gone pretty low, so they have to put the damage on the units, and then, you know, it bricks that attack turn for them because all their units already should have damage on it from previous indirect damage that you've done. So now none of their stuff is swinging for anything. It represents 5 damage. This card is a headache when you're sitting across from it and it gets put on the board. And the 5 indirect damage just works great with Boba. So yeah, Radiant 7, definitely a fun card. Only running 1 of, and I think 1 of is the right number. Because like you don't really always want to see it. I never want to see 2 of these. But sometimes like it comes in at just the right moment and it feels great to play. We're running Triple Devastator for obvious reasons. You could have TDR'd the Devastator, represent 14 damage with Boba because you get that 1 indirect when it comes in. Yeah, it was a fun card while it lasted. I probably only managed to do TDR Devastator once over the whole weekend. I whiffed all the other times I tried to do that 13-14 damage TDR. I just never really hit it. I only hit it in like the side event games that I played. So Devastator was kind of, you know, if I had to go back, I might have cut 1 Devastator, honestly. Maybe not. Maybe you just always run 3 for the chance of having the TDR hit, but like none of that matters anymore because it's banned. But yeah, Devastator is just good. It's just a scary card. Definitely less scary now that TDR is out. Electromagnetic Pulse. Okay, so this was the tech against Django. It was good because you could hit down, right? You could tap the units that came out from TDR. However, like mid Saturday, I had an epiphany. This card hurt to play. It felt bad to play because if they TDR on 4, they bring out the Ruthless Raider and you play this, you're down to 3. You can't TDR your Ruthless Raider. It just doesn't feel great because you've used the 1. If I had a time machine and I could talk to myself before sectors, I would tell myself, hey, don't run Electromagnetic Pulse. Run Look the Other Way. Look the Other Way would have been such a disgusting tech if I had thought about it before Saturday, just because it's a 0 cost, so I can play my TDR and do all my stuff for free and represent the card at all times because it's a 0 cost. And against Django, they're always doing the TDR on 6 to bring out the Devastator or on 4 to bring out the Ruthless, and they're tapped out. And you can just play the freaking Look the Other Way from hand, tap their thing down for 0. And once again, because it's 0, they would never be able to play. They always have to think you have it because there's no telegraph unless you're passing, and you can bluff that too to represent it. So if I had to go back in time, I would have traded the Electromagnetic Pulses out for Look the Other Way, because it definitely, like, it doesn't feel good to, they TDR, I do this, and I can't play anything else because, or I can't play ideally because I've costed 1. Yeah, long spiel there, but yeah, that unfortunately will never be able to test the Look the Other Way tech because TDR is banned. But yeah, that would have been cool. We have 2 Daring Raids just to finish things off or push damage. I definitely think, yeah, I run 3 Daring Raids. I pushed this back to a Daring Raid. Would have helped in one of my matches to end the game if this was in fact a Daring Raid, and put the Look the Other Ways in the side. But yeah, it's just like 2 damage to unit or base, finish stuff off, or kill the base, hurt the base, and triggers Boba. Sneak attack, I almost always resource just because in the Django matchup, this card is dead. Because like you sneak attack, they tap it, and then you're kind of screwed because your card just dies now. So yeah, this always got resourced. It might be better now that Django is gone. I think we replace the TDRs with sneak attacks, and I think you can still get Boba to be okay. It's going to take some testing, but that's probably my move post the ban is TDRs get swapped out for 3 sneak attacks, because now we don't have to worry about getting tapped down when we play it. No Good to Me Deads, 3 in the main. This card was a VIP. This is the star, this is the MVP, this is the greatest card to answer anything in any deck, in my opinion, because you're racing, you're going fast, right? And so No Good, what it does is it freezes leaders. So Annie, you can freeze that guy. You can freeze TDR stuff that comes out, just to stop it from doing, your War Juggernaut 8 damage TDR, whatever it is, or your Ruthless Raider, the Devastator, you can just freeze it. And then also in like aggro v aggro matchups for the Quins, for the Sabines, you stop them the next turn too, and that just gives you so much tempo to just continue pushing damage and going for base. So these are fantastic. I love this card so much after this weekend. Yeah, No Goods are great. 2 surprise strikes. This was probably a mistake. I'm going back up to 3 just because pump is so good. There are definitely like some games where it's like, oh, if I top deck a surprise strike here, I win the game. But only having 2 means that sometimes like I have one in resource, or like there's only 2 in the deck, and I don't have a guaranteed chance of, or I have a less chance of seeing the surprise strike. So going back up to 3, definitely with an aggro deck, like I don't know what I was thinking, taking one out. I don't know if it lost me some games, but like if I top decked it when I needed it, I could have won, I think, 2 games that I'm thinking of in my mind. And what I'd probably take out is the Waylays. I never really used Waylay just because my matchups were all red-green, and those cards are using like when played effects or ambush effects, or those decks are using those kinds. If I was playing Piets, these get played. If I'm playing any kind of control, these get played just to bounce the big stuff out, right? Like the Avengers or the Snokes or the Devastators, the green Devastators, whatever it is. That's when you Waylay, but I'd probably would have sided these going back in time. 3 DDRs, what can I say? Oh well, good night, Sweet Prince. This card is now suspended. I sold my extras luckily yesterday, and I made like $100, so that was cool. And then finally 1 Planetary Bombardment. I just think this card is super fun, especially in Boba, because you do the 1 extra. If you have a Ruthless Raider out, it does 13 damage, and this won me a game. It straight up won me at least 1 game, maybe 2 games. Just holding on to it for the right time. Play the Ruthless Raider, and then the next turn, if the Ruthless Raider is still around, great. If it's not, okay, I'm still doing 9 damage to you. And you got to figure it out. So yeah, Planetary Bombardment, 1 of. I would keep it at 1 of. I would never go above, just because like you just want 1, and you just want it to show up at the right time, or hold it like roughly around the right time. And if not, you're just resourcing it. So yeah, that's the deck list for the main. And the changes I would make, post ban, post sectors, is trade the triple darks out for sneaks, because we don't have to worry about Django. Put another surprise strike in, put another daring raid back in, just make it go a little bit faster. And then yeah, maybe take the Boba Fett or Vader out. I don't know, they might be great now because Django's not around. We'll have to see. Oh, and then trade out these 2 Kylo Ties for 2 TIE bombers. I think that would be better. Let's go to the side. So the side, we have 2 Greedos, and this is mainly because when we don't have initiative, we are putting the Greedos in and taking out 2 Allegiant General Prides, just because Allegiant General Pride is pretty useless if you don't have initiative. And I'd much rather have the Greedo to push, more damage or double drop, 1 drops. Triple Force Choke. These come in against anything that is run like Hans, right? It's your answer, or was your answer to DJ Tech. This is also the answer to force units. So like in the Annie matchup or in the Quinlan matchup, if they're trying to stick a Yoda or stick whatever force, Akira, or not Akira, what's her name, an Ahsoka or whatever it is, force unit, so they can force throw you, just force choke them immediately. That's how I usually play those force matchups, is or the Annie or Quinlan matchup, is I just kill any force unit right off the bat, because getting force throwed, I hate force throw. The getting force throwed sucks. And then you also have to be aware of the pillage and whatnot. But yeah, Force Choke is also great if you are going up against leaders that have to die, like Annie. You're definitely Force Choking Annie to get off the board, because the more damage that they soak with indirect onto the base, the bigger Annie gets, and that can be a massive problem. So Force Choking that stuff, just a great card. You use it whenever there's like big threats on the ground that you need to deal with. 2 EMPs, once again, for the Django matchup. And yeah, same thing. I would have probably had these traded out for Look the Other Way. Cham never saw play because it was all red yellow matchups. And then the third way lane here, and then Commandeer, it's like okay. I thought Commandeer was all right. It just costs a lot. It doesn't feel great to, you know, it's like you're just getting into some damage and you're bouncing a card up. I would rather get more aggressive, I think, with a Boba deck. So this might be turned into something else, more aggressive, especially now that Django's gone. This is probably going to leave the sideboard for something else. But yeah, that's the deck. That's the main. That's the side. Let's talk about what else this weekend. So yeah, game 1 was just I went 3 Bobas in a row winning. The Boba Django matchup was very coin flippy. It's like whoever can pull a value TDR first. So it's just like Django v Django to a degree. It's whoever gets the TDR that works. And so, you know, that was how the first 3 matches went. They just went my way, I think, like pretty coin flippy. The 4th Django matchup, I whiffed TDR, so I just lost. And then the 5th Django matchup was Daniel Hall, the guy that came in first. He just had all the answers all the time. Super good player. Yeah, and he was also running the Django 30 base. And the Django 30 bases, I played 2 of them this weekend, this weekend, and those were harder to deal with than the Tarkin Towns. Tarkin Towns, I'm definitely more favored, but the 30 base does help them a lot just because they soak 5 more indirect damage, and that can mean the difference. So yeah, that was how those first 5 matches went. Then I went back-to-back Quinlins, and those were easy. I think Boba is favored into Quinlan just because you push so much damage, and like so long as you know how to play around hand hate, they can't hurt you too bad. And then just get off the ground, right? Don't put stuff on the ground that they can very easily, you know, get Plo value on or get Han value on. You're pretty much switching to space pretty fast, or like into the mid-late game. And that's the same game plan for Sabine too, because Sabine's trying to get value off Wrecker or Poe ECLs. But if you have no ground units for them to ambush, they get stuck with that stuff in the hand, and it just feels bad for them. You force choke in case they're running Sundari Peacekeepers and whatnot. But yeah, feel good, pretty good in the Sabine matchup. A lot of this deck, the answer is just get off the ground. At a certain point in time, you're no longer playing ground units no matter what, just so that you cannot get ambushed on the ground and they cannot get the value there. And you just stick to, you know, maybe that's more inefficient plays in the space. But yeah, that's pretty much how I played a lot of those other matchups. And then the last Boba matchup, that's also coin flippy. It's the same thing. Whoever gets the most value TDR. And so I think that is what showed me why TDR needed to get banned this weekend. It was just because in all those matchups, the game is decided solely on who gets the good TDR. Did you TDR? Were you able to TDR the Devastator out? Okay, all right. Well, I guess you just win, because like that, that's how it is. So yeah, I'm kind of glad TDR got banned despite it, you know, me using it. I think it was, especially with Devastator, it was just not good for the meta. It was definitely oppressive, and you were winning games that you had no business winning because you could pull 14, 13 damage out of your ass whenever you needed to, or if you got lucky, I mean. But yeah, and then the Boba matchup, I took it to game 3 and I lost with 2 damage, with a 2 damage difference. So almost made it to the 9th round. I finished top 100, so pretty happy with that. And I think I finished highest out of everyone I knew from LA and Arizona. So I'm proud of those results. I definitely think I could have done better if I slept more on Friday, honestly. I was so much on autopilot for Saturday, but yeah, otherwise I had fun at the sectors. I'm going to regionals, I'm going to worlds, I'm gonna hit up all the PQs in Arizona. Don't know what deck I'm playing yet. We'll have to see how the meta shakes out after this ban. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. You guys got my changes for what I do to this post ban. And yeah, until next time, take it easy, be safe out there, and have a good time.